here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's February 24th here in Seoul. I'm Shin-Yun, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Choi Ji-hee.
Good morning, Yun.
And Park Ki-hoon.
TGIF!
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. Now, every day we do make a news feed for the new generation, and we're looking at the top trending hashtags on social media over the past 24 hours. Here they are. The first hashtag is 1 year mark. Exactly a year ago today, on February 24th, Russian troops invaded Ukraine. Since then, the two countries have been at war, causing tens of thousands of deaths and the largest refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. Marking this somber anniversary, the UN Secretary General denounced Moscow's invasion as a violation of international law. He also called out Russian threats and their potential use of nuclear weapons. The second hashtag is 4.83 million. Statistics Korea on Thursday found out that the average monthly household income came to 4.83 million won, or around $3,700 in the fourth quarter of last year. Though this was an increase of around 4% in just a year, authorities cited inflation for the rise. In other words, real income has actually dropped for 2 consecutive quarters. The third hashtag is developer. According to a HR tech company, 8 out of 10 people said they wanted to change their occupation as a whole. The company surveyed roughly 900 people in January, and most of these surveyed said if they could choose to go back in time, they would choose to become a software developer. The second most popular occupation was a YouTuber. Survey participants said they wanted to change their current job title because of their low salary and pay raise opportunities. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the last hashtag, developer. As much as a lot of people aren't too happy with where they are in their career path, many frequently look at other job offers and recruitment posts. And there's a specific job post that went viral among youngsters here. It was from a medium-sized company looking for a designer. The offered salary was at $1,500 for a 9-to-6 job, and here's what threw people off. So the requirement said the job post asks for someone who could work till they puke. It adamantly rejected anyone who would slack off or had no passion, and people who saw this post were frustrated. Some left comments criticizing how the offered salary couldn't even reach the minimum wage, and currently the minimum wage is at 9,621, or around $7.40 per hour. Now, Ki-hoon, you just saw this post, right? Mm-hmm. What did you think about this?
Now, if the purpose of this job post was to make people laugh, they succeeded. But looking at this kind of job post reminded me of the term 열정페이.
Yeah.
That went around a long time ago amongst millennials, where employers didn't pay the workers enough money. They were underpaid or even unpaid, saying that, hey, we're giving you the opportunity to have your work experience that you want or need, and giving you money on top of that is more than enough. So a lot of employees were brainwashed. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, you know what? Money is a great source of passion and hard work.
Exactly.
Money talks.
Source of motivation. But there were a lot of people, not like Yuki, that laughed, but they were frustrated. They were actually quite angry with this. Then Chi-hee, could you define what the new generation thinks is actually an appealing and attractive job post?
Sure. Well, before that, I think this particular job opening was completely outdated, and it didn't understand what the millennials want. What they're seeking in a job. Well, in my opinion, the duties that I have to engage in are very important, and also a high salary is also a very important factor. And so I would apply for a job if they made me do things that I wanted to do, and also if they paid me a lot, of course. I totally agree with Ki-hoon that money is a great source of motivation for hard work. But if the salary doesn't meet your expectations, then I think the companies should at least list some other welfare benefits that can actually compensate for the lower salary.
And I think that's what a lot of the news gen is looking for. And that was our news feed for this Friday. Moving on, we've been speaking of job recruitment posts. So have you ever looked for a part-time job? It's quite common among the new generation, which is why we've chosen this as our discussion topic of the day. Part-time jobs are quite common in Korea, especially among millennials and Gen Z who are still studying or have some free time. Workplaces range from convenience stores, cafes, and restaurants to homes where people tutor or babysit, or on the roads where people deliver food or parcels.
In recent years, there has been growing concern about working conditions. That's why the government has been raising the minimum wage. Currently, it's 9,620 Korean won, roughly $7.40, which is up by 5% from last year. Today, NewsGen looks at 3 questions. 1. What part-time jobs are trending among younger people in Korea these days? 2. What type of work environment are millennial Gen Z part-timers looking for? 3. Why are a growing number of employers saying it's difficult to find young, devoted part-time workers?
As we just saw, we're going to talk about the different part-time jobs the new gen are taking these days. And let's first find out if any of our panelists have ever tried part-time jobs, starting with Ki-hoon.
Me, I've tried many different types of part-time jobs growing up, starting from painting houses, working at a car wash, cleaning big supermarkets before opening hours, just to list a few. But the most recent one I did was a one-off part-time job, setting up an event hall for a one-day special yoga class.
Wow.
Have you tried one of those yoga classes?
Oh, well, I'm a yogi myself, but I haven't gone to an offline one recently because I do it online.
Right.
But how was it like?
It was quite okay because it was a high-paying job compared to the number of hours I work. But the only flip side would be having to look at so many females in yoga outfits in just one place. And I didn't know where to look at. So I had to step outside until it finished. But overall, I think I have a lot of work experience in terms of part-time jobs.
A few days ago, we actually talked about whether it's okay to wear yoga pants at the office.
Right.
But I guess...
Inappropriate.
Really?
Well, he was working, but the rest of the yogis were just doing their job.
If men are allowed to wear yoga pants as well, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Would you be okay looking at me wearing yoga pants?
I would like to skip that question.
There you go. There you go.
Let's hear what I have.
Yeah, what do
to
you
tell
do? Yeah.
Right. So my experiences aren't as diverse as Ki-hoon. Most of them were related to English. I taught English in a little library for little younger students. And I also taught English over the phone. And I also helped interpret for these artists who came to perform in Korea in festivals.
Wow,
that was
that
pretty
seems fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And I used to be in a band back in college. And my band, we performed behind this music video of a famous woman artist, 서문탁. She's a
Really?
singer.
Wow.
Yes, we were the background band. We pretended to be playing all the instruments.
Wait, what instrument do you play?
I played the drums.
You're a drummer.
Really?
We have a drummer here at NewsGen.
Oh, wow. I want to see it one day. I think
Exactly.
all the viewers want to see it.
Yeah, I'm a flutist.
She's a flutist.
Yeah, a little different vibe. But moving on, Chi-hee, then what do millennials and Gen Z aim to achieve through this various part-time jobs?
Right. So there was this recent survey done by 알바몬. I'm sure if you're a youngster living in Korea, you've heard of this site before. It's a part-time job seeking site. And 8 out of 10 young people have a goal they would like to achieve through the part-time experience they engage in. So if we take a look at the screen for now, there are 4 main goals that youngsters would like to achieve by engaging in part-time jobs. So this survey was conducted on over 2,900 millennials and Gen Zers engaging in part-time jobs, and the respondents were able to choose multiple answers. So it turned out that, like I said, 80% have something they'd like to accomplish through their experience. And number 1 on the list was to save up money with 60%.
Right.
And second was to earn money to flex for themselves.
I'm not surprised.
Not surprised. That's one of my reasons as well, back when I was in university. And that took up 33%. And third on the list was to provide money to spend on their parents, taking up 18%. And last but not least, fourth on the list was to gain work experience. That accounted for 16%.
Right.
Right. So other than these goals, the survey also found out that more than 75% of the young people who engage in part-time jobs want to live a better life. We've talked about this before, 갓생 살기, right? So it's about living a fruitful, productive life and making each day count through these part-time
Like
job
God.
experiences.
Like a
God.
god.
Yes.
Exactly. And I agree. When I did my part-time job, I really saved up at least 80% of what I
Wow.
earned. Yeah, because I wanted to go on a trip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or I wanted to buy
And
a
buy
really
your
good gift.
Chanel bag overseas?
No, I didn't earn too much money. But Kyun, what are some distinctive traits connected to young part-timers these days?
I think many young part-timers look for practicality and convenience the most. So for example, they would look for jobs that are close to home.
Oh,
and
yeah.
almost like a walkable distance to save time and money. And also they would prefer working on weekdays compared to weekends because it's less busy. And of course they want to spend their weekends going out or just resting at home. So the level of commitment and how long they work at a particular place, one particular place, has gone down with time, especially with the advancement of technology where e-commerce has become more prominent. I think many youngsters prefer to work from home instead of being physically present at the workplace and doing physical labor.
I think that's the case, especially with COVID-19. Everyone was using Zoom and Skype, so there's a lot of part-time jobs these days that require people to use these platforms.
Right.
And Kyun, a lot of employers, though, are saying because of the younger generation's traits, it's hard to find a young, devoted worker. And according to another job recruitment site called 알바천국, 80% of employers have been ghosted.
Really?
Yeah, by their part-time employees. And for viewers who don't know what ghosted means, it means when you don't show up for the interview, or you suddenly don't show up to work, or leave the workplace before their shift ends. So that's why a lot of employers are saying it's just so hard to hire young part-timers. What are your thoughts on this?
I have to agree. But I think in my opinion, it's the generation gap and the change in working behavior and environment. Like nowadays, there's so much diverse, different types of part-time jobs that pay you different hourly rates. So I guess a lot more opportunities can arise. Now, I'm not saying I'm supporting ghosting. I'm really against it and it shouldn't really happen. But I think it comes more from how youngsters have the attitude of not taking little things, for example, part-time jobs, as seriously as the older generation used to. And I was thinking, it's also because they don't get penalized for ghosting. Maybe their friends have done it and they got away with it. And I was thinking as well, perhaps if it was an interview for Samsung, would they have ghosted that interview?
I don't think so, but Kyun, are you sure these are your friends you're talking about?
Exactly.
You seem to know a lot about
I don't
this
have
subject.
any friends. I'm my only friend.
Is it you? Have you experienced
Have
it?
you ever experienced this?
Now that you put me on the spot, I think it's confession time.
Okay, confess up.
Okay, this happened a long time ago when I was young, naive. I ghosted just once. I called in saying I was sick when I wasn't. So I did apologize, but the owner was very upset.
Yeah.
So I disrupted his business for that day. So I want to make this time an opportunity. If you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you know who you are. I'm so sorry.
Oh my.
I hope your business is doing well and good luck for the future. I'm very sorry.
And Kyun has been repenting. Jihi, would you like to use this opportunity to confess anything?
I hope he's forgiven, but it's not my thing.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
You shouldn't lie on live
I'm
television.
not lying. I'm not lying. I've never missed a single day of work. Unlike
Okay.
Ki-hoon.
So Kyun. Well, at
So
least
I'm the
you
bad
confessed.
guy.
Yeah, at least you confessed.
Okay.
And you asked for forgiveness. All right, now why don't we include another global millennial who's also tried various part-time jobs, and let's find out which part-time jobs are trending there and what type of work environment millennials and Gen Z are looking for around the world. We're now going to be speaking with a millennial from France who's currently working as a content manager. It's Maouli Cave from France. Great to have you with us, Maouli.
Hello, hello
Hi.
everyone.
Now, Maouli, I heard that you've tried a lot of part-time jobs before, and what are some popular jobs among younger people in France, and what type of workplace do the younger gen in France hope for?
Well, actually in France, like the part-time job are pretty classic. You know, it's like working in the small shops, maybe like clothes shops, something like that, or maybe as a waiter in restaurants, or probably like maybe babysitting, stuff like that. But I think like what the younger people try to find out is like something like not too demanding in work. So it's like not too much stuff to do, you know, like,
Right.
and being like maybe have like some kind of flexible options, like maybe
Right.
like not like crazy hours, of course, and like something that worth their time. So they, even if the money is not really high, at least it's like kind of worth the time they're spending during the work. And maybe also they can like try to find like some kind of nice environment. Like I would think about like something nice spot, a nice view, or like some advantage, like, you know, discount or free food. I don't know, something like that. They would probably like that.
I see. And do you two in the studio have any questions you'd like to ask Maui?
Right, I also have one. Why did this type of trend form though, Maui?
Well, I think it's because like there is like always like some kind of demand. Like there is like always like some shops like during like maybe some season, like, you know, the summer season, stuff like that, when like the demand is high. So like they actually always try to find like some young people to work. So it's like kind of accessible. So it's not too difficult to find. And since also the pay and the responsibilities are not too high, they will also like, you know, like kind of easier to find for like some people who doesn't have like much experience or like, you know, like, so it's easier to find like some, I mean, if you really want it, you will find like some work somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Like similar to Korea, is it harder for employers to find young people who want a part-time job?
I think the most difficult thing is not actually to find, but maybe to keep them, as you maybe like you also kind of already mentioned. Maybe it's difficult to manage the people, to manage the younger people. So because they have like a different vision, maybe they're also more unstable. They would like, if they're not happy with the work, they might think about changing, and they would not be afraid of like quitting and trying something else. So I think it's like something like really like that actually represent the younger generation. Like maybe the attention span is shorter, something like that. So they will like lose the focus if they're like losing the interest, you know, and like, so they will like also, I guess, have a minimum implication in the work. So like you would have to be really careful if you want to keep them in your job.
Right. Is this based on your experience, Maui?
Yeah.
It sounds very personal.
Actually, no, I mean, no, I'm just like observing, you know, I'm not like that. But when I was younger, I kept most of my work there. I was not really like, I was more like as a secure type of person. So I was a little bit afraid of losing my stuff. So like for me, like I worked as a like teacher and stuff like that. So I was really into it. I wanted to keep it. I felt it was interesting, so I guess maybe that's why I didn't left.
I see.
All right. Thank you so much, Maui. It was a pleasure to have you here and hear about what the younger gen in France is like.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if I bring the discussion back to the studio, any points that Maui made that fascinated you?
Well, I think it's quite universal that the millennials, the Gen Zs, they would like not too demanding work. And make easy money, really.
Right.
But I think that's also why many people are refraining from engaging in the 3D kind of work, the difficult, dangerous, and dirty sort of work. Right?
The 3D work.
Yes.
What about
No, I totally agree with Chi. The youngsters these days, it's hard to really manage them and keep them at a workplace for a long time. So I think there needs to be kind of like a better understanding between the employee and the employer. So it's something that we all need to work on.
Right.
And what I found fascinating was the last comment made by Maui. It's not hard to find young people who are ready to work. It's hard to keep them there.
Right.
And that's something that's been happening here in Korea as well. And all right, given that we are a live morning program, we always ask our viewers questions related to our discussion topic in advance. We use this time to share with what they had to say on our topic today. So we asked our viewers what part-time jobs that they've done or what type of jobs were common in their home countries. Tiffany X Tomorrow said, in San Antonio, Texas, the most popular part-time jobs are theme parks, stores, and restaurants. I've held many jobs at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas since the age of 16. PMGW said in his home country, Poland, to which I've not been in 10 years, some popular part-time jobs were support associate, student coordinator, salon and spa front desk, restaurant host, and delivery driver. Wow, those are a lot. And MS said, when I was in college, I was a host at a restaurant. My duties included greeting and seating the desks, scheduling reservations, and bussing tables. Now, what do you guys think about our viewers' comments?
Well, I have something to say about Tiffany's comment. I wonder how the theme park part-time job was like, because back in college, I saw this posting on working for a theme park, but I wasn't confident with doing all the like, hello, welcome to the ride, you know.
Welcome.
Yes.
Also, right?
Exactly. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good paying job.
Exactly. And they have such a melodical tune,
Oh,
right?
they do,
Exactly.
yes.
And what about you, Ki-hoon?
I'm just commenting on PMGW and MS's comment. Working at a restaurant, I've worked at many different restaurants as well. It's a very common part-time job for many youngsters as well. It's fun, but daunting at the same time, because especially if you work at a busy restaurant, it becomes crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it can
How?
get, yeah.
Because like you have to know which tables to serve. People will be pressing the bells, yelling at you, wanting their food, and if you don't calculate the right table with the right amount, you'll get in trouble by the boss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
It
you
sounds
have to be
hectic
alert.
for sure.
Okay.
But what I thought is, because back in college, I mostly did a lot of part-time jobs related to English.
Right.
And I really wanted to try what Tiffany mentioned as well, the theme park
Right.
ones, and just, scheduling reservations at a restaurant. I thought
It's never too late.
It's never
Try
too
it
late.
out.
Never too
You guys
late.
might find me somewhere at a
Use-
restaurant.
Yeah, everyone. She's available.
Exactly. Now, all right, we do upload questions related to our discussion topic for our viewers to answer. And if you want to participate, please search ArirangNews on YouTube. Look into our community tab. The link is right below. Now, we've already come to the final part of our discussion for today. And how do you guys think part-time jobs will evolve? And do you think companies and business owners will change their work styles according to the traits of millennials and Gen Z?
Well, I think Albamon, the part-time job-seeking site, put it in a very good manner, summarized it really well. So companies and business owners, they said, must respect part-timers as professional workers. And at the same time, the young part-timers, they should respect their work more and show more professional attitude. So this way, part-time jobs will be respected more, and they'll be more acknowledged for these sort of work as well. And I also think companies and part-time jobs, it won't be just for the younger generation in the future, right? Older generations are more and more engaging in these jobs as well, so that will be a new trend in the future, I guess.
And what are your thoughts, Ki-hoon?
Like I mentioned before, it's more about finding a common ground and finding ways to constructively coexist and to work together between owners and part-timers, because owners need to realize that they do need part-timers for the business to run more smoothly, effectively, and efficiently. And of course, like what Ji said, part-timers should be a little more professional and responsible for what they're doing, because they are getting paid at the end of the day. So I think these ways could be good measures to mitigate the difference in working styles between generations.
Definitely. And even though it may be a part-time job, it's still a job. You should get it done. All right. And today we talked about part-time jobs and which type of jobs young people in Korea like the most. And we'll be here every day from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you the topics that young people are talking about. Special thanks to Choi Ji-hee,
Thank you, Ian.
and Park Ki-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. We are News Generation.